Welcome to another session of Just a Point of View. Today's topic, a controversial topic as usual. This is another message from the streets, and today's topic is deprogramming racism. Racism is an ugly word, it's an ugly action, an ugly state of mind. It's actually so ugly that it is nefarious, which means it's wicked. And this wicked state of mind has been woven into the fabric and the foundation of the operation here in the West, in the United States. Racism exists all over the planet, but I must address the issue in the backyard and the front yard of my personal experience and the experiences of people like myself. First of all, I want to disagree with one statement, and that is that so-called blacks can't be racist. And the reason that, or ideology that has come up, it has says that black people can't be racist because we don't have no power. Well, that is a state of agreement that some people have agreed with to rationalize that within so-called black people that there is hatred for so-called whites and other people of other nationalities. So-called blacks may not demonstrate as blatantly as so-called whites and others in certain arenas, but so-called blacks do and have said of their disdain to the point of hatred of people that they don't even know, and I consider that to be racist. They say, well, we don't have no power. We're not the economical power structure. Man, that's some bull. Racism is bigger than that. If you want to marginalize it and put it in those perspective to justify, the mindset which so-called blacks have adapted from others, you do that, but you're lying to yourself. Everybody on the planet, within every nationality, there is people that are racist because they hate other people without cause besides of their nationality, their ethnicity, or their lack of melanin, or their excessive melanin. And that is a form of ignorance. So the topic is deprogramming racism. People must be educated on what racism is and how that it operates. And are you an underlying racist without even knowing it? Some people don't know that they have residue of racism within them, so they will say altogether that they are not racist. How could you not be racist in a country that has been created on the foundation of racism? Racism is what we live in, we breathe it, we swim in it every day. We go to work in it, we go to the grocery store in it. We're in the midst of racism. And even if you're in a community where there's all the same people of your same nationality or so-called race, there's racism there. There's racism in the Jewish community. There's racism in the Caucasian American community, the Hispanic community. There's racism in the German community. Because when you come to America, you learn to be racist if you already haven't been racist. There's racism in the Italian community. There's racism in the Asian community. Racism is the norm of the day in the United States. And because we're in denial about it, because of whatever our angle is, or whatever our justification is, that just makes the sickness, the disease of the mind, more effective and damaging to the possible recovery of the racist mindset. And that's where racism started at. It starts in the mind. It is taught by parents, it's taught by cultures and community, but it is a form of a mental agreement that has spread it like a virus, like the COVID per se. It's a disease of the mind. And as long as we do not administer antidote to the disease, it's going to keep on growing and pass on from generation to generation. I want to speak on the European Caucasian American form of racism, because this is one of the most deadliest forms of racism that exists on the planet. It deals with narcissism. It is the arrogance and the self-righteousness and the entitlement and the privilege to go along with being of a Caucasian or a less melanated individual on this planet. So these people have been convinced by the lies of their forefathers that they are not racist. Now, denial is the first indicator that there is an issue that needs to be addressed. Anyone knows that if you know anything about Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, any type of anonymous, the program always indicate that you must identify or acknowledge whatever the sickness is. And racism is a sickness. It's a sickness of the mind. So as long as these people, any people, all people deny that we are not racist or we don't have the residue of racism within us, there's no healing for that particular part of our being. And we must be healed totally. So deprogramming is a part of learning, because some people have been indoctrinated by information and never had an experience with other people of other nationalities. And because of our different cultural upbringings, we're not going to be exactly the same. We're not going to agree with everything from religious to politics to education, so forth and so on, to even the history or the operation of this country. But that doesn't mean that we cannot agree to disagree and communicate with one another and move towards a more beneficial future for the future generations. Racism is deadly. It is so deadly that it will kill, diminish, debase the mind of children that haven't even arrived here on the planet yet, because somebody is harvesting racism at this particular time in their heart, and they're intentionally going to teach it to some young person that's not aware of what's about to take place. This is ridiculous. And we must change. If nothing don't change, nothing don't change. And the thinking and the operation of many Americans haven't changed. They are privileged to continue to operate in a system of white supremacy, which is based on racism, which is based on hatred, which is based on ignorance, and is based on the subtle dismantlement of this culture and society. Racism has run its course. It doesn't have any more effective meaning or benefits to this society. We must do away with it. We must elevate to the next level, and that is respecting each human being, as a spiritual being. There is nothing different from us other than the way that we think and see things, but at the core, all of us is created from energy, created from spirit, come from the same source per se. Yet it is the deprogramming that is necessary so that we can move further into the development of what we were created to be. This is part 1 of Deprogramming Racism. Ladies and gentlemen, if the shoe fit, lace it up. Go get some help. If you got residue of racism within you, acknowledge it first. That's how you can grow beyond that point. You may never get it all out of you because it is a heavy stain on the hearts and minds of people in the United States. Yet you can be moving towards it. Attempt to deprogram yourself. Attempt to be more reasonable. Be truthful with yourself. And I'm not just talking about Caucasian European people. I'm talking about so-called blacks, so-called Africans and Americans, so-called Negroes, whoever you want to call yourself, so-called Egyptian descendants of Egypt, so forth and so on. Man, y'all gotta get that hate out your heart, man. Because hate don't got no place in the development of humanity as a whole. Unless you're going to continue to reflect the haters. You reflect the haters, you're going to produce hate. You reflect the haters, you want to kill the haters just like the haters want to kill you. Hey, do you? But I'm telling you, deprogramming racism is something that cannot be avoided. Racism must be deprogrammed as quickly as possible in the minds of people, not just in America, but all around the planet. Racism, classism, sexism, etc. I bring you this message in peace. I leave you this message in love. And at the end of the day, individuals choose to be racist. You ain't racist because your mother and your father. You ain't racist because what happened to your people in their experience. You racist because you choose to. That is how you operate. That's give you value in life. It's a lie. Wake up. Peace.